Hello, I'm Ezra Deanna, and this is day 4 of our daily dose of Torah for week number 4. Once again, on the laws of Tzedakah according to Rabbi Eliezer Melamed. Rabbi Melamed, in section 5 of his Hilchot Tzedakah, asks what is a very, very important question as to what our priorities should be when it comes to the laws of Tzedakah. We may be aware of very many different individuals in various situations, as well as all of the different organizations that can sometimes ask us for donations. How is it that we decide where our money should go, how much of it, and when? Rabbi Melamed answers, and again, a question-answer form, as we mentioned that he does a lot of in Hilchot Tzedakah, and says that there are actually 3 general rules that one should follow, and as he notes, they're the same rules that we see when we decide how to lend out money to others, which, as we mentioned, is what the verses in our parsha are technically referring to. And therefore, he says, let's take a look at the verse, at the pasuk, which we learn these laws from. The pasuk first tells us, Ki yevecha evyon, when there will be someone who is poor among you. And Rabbi Melamed, based on various earlier sources, says that the halacha is, number 1, first and foremost, the level of need of the individual who is struggling. Whoever needs more help, that is the first criteria as to how you should help them. So if someone really needs food to get through the day, they should be helped far above someone who is doing okay but needs certain other basic needs. Number 2, Rabbi Melamed says, let's continue on in the verse, the pasuk says, Me'achad achecha, one of your brothers. Therefore, the second important rule when it comes to prioritizing tzedakah is whoever is closer, whoever is more of a brother. And what that means is, first of all, literal family relationships. If someone's parents need help, if someone's children need help, if someone's other relatives need help, they come before other people who are not related to the person. And finally, the third rule, which Rabbi Melamed says is very, very important, is that the verse says, Be'achad she'arecha, in one of your gates, which really refers to the city. And he says, therefore, we have this rule that the poor people of one city take precedence in terms of tzedakah over other people of other cities. Now, Rabbi Melamed notes, what if you have conflicts between each of these rules? What if the person who is closer to you needs the money a little bit less? Or people of another city are closer relatives? So he says the rules are actually of importance in the way that we presented them, the order that we presented them. First and foremost is the need that a particular individual has. Second is their relationship to you, the giver. And finally, third is that they should be from your city. He does add, however, that even though we've said these rules, there may be additional circumstances that fall within these rules. So he says, for example, if we're talking about the second case, someone who is considered a brother, even though, of course, all of the Jewish people are considered relatives and considered close to each other, nevertheless, he says, there are other ways that people can be considered closer than others in addition to just actual blood relationships or by marriage relationships. He says, for example, if someone's a good friend, they actually fall into that category as well. So your friend who has a certain level of need would actually come before someone else who you don't know who has that same level of need. So too, he says, if someone is close ideologically with a particular person or institution, he says, that would actually qualify under the second category as well. So he says, for example, if one wants to donate to a yeshiva, they should donate to a yeshiva which is closer to their ideological position, especially one which someone may have gone to if they still feel that connection is something which qualifies as closer. And he says that, just to note on a practical level, it's true that there are some cases which the halacha very clearly dictates what to do. Again, if someone really needs money for food and clothing and they're otherwise would be in danger, certainly that's a very clear-cut case where you have to give them money ahead of someone else who clearly isn't in that same circumstance. On the other hand, he says, there are cases, and many, many cases, where it's not 100% clear based on the criteria given above as to what one should do. And he says, people's needs are very, very different, and oftentimes it actually depends on the person who's giving the tzedakah, whether that be, as we said earlier, the gabbai tzedakah or an individual who's handing out the tzedakah, and such a person needs to decide based on their own knowledge of the circumstances, and to to offer the tzedakah in accordance with whatever he or she feels is appropriate for that situation. He says sometimes it may even be worthwhile to ask someone else who is aware of the situation. They may be able to help guide you.